I stood on the stage at the community talent show holding my violin when a group of men in the front row started pointing at my shoes and howling with laughter so loud the music stopped. I had spent 6 months practicing this piece, but all anyone noticed was that I was wearing mismatched sneakers because I had been in such a rush to get there from my shift at the hospital. The sound of their laughter echoed off the high ceilings of the hall, and I felt my face turn a bright burning red as the rest of the audience started whispering and giggling along with them. I felt like a child again, standing there in the spotlight while the world decided I was a joke. The leader of the group was a local guy named Ryan, who was known for being a bully back in high school, and clearly hadn't grown out of it in the 10 years since we graduated. He was leaning back in his chair, slapping his knee and making loud comments about how I must have gotten dressed in the dark. I looked at the judges' table and saw that even they were struggling to hide their smiles, which hurt worse than the guys in the front row. I had been so proud of finally getting the courage to perform in public, but in 30 seconds, Ryan had managed to strip away every bit of confidence I had built up. I tucked the violin under my chin, my hands trembling so much that the bow was rattling against the strings. I tried to start the first few notes, but Ryan made a loud honking sound with his mouth that sent another wave of laughter through the room. "Why don't you go home and find your other shoe?" he shouted, and a few people in the back actually clapped. I looked at my violin, then at my feet, and then straight at Ryan, who was waiting for me to burst into tears and run off the stage. I realized that if I left now, I would never pick up this instrument again for the rest of my life. I stepped right to the edge of the stage, directly over where Ryan was sitting, and I didn't start my classical piece. Instead, I started playing a fast, aggressive folk tune that required absolute precision and speed, a song I usually only played when I was alone and angry. The room went silent almost instantly because the skill required to play it was undeniable. I stared Ryan right in the eyes as I played, the music getting louder and more complex until he started looking uncomfortable in his seat. He tried to make another comment, but the woman sitting next to him shushed him angrily, her eyes fixed on my hands. I finished the song with a sharp, ringing note that seemed to vibrate in the air for a long time. The silence that followed was heavy, but it wasn't the silence of mockery anymore. It was the silence of people who realized they had almost missed something incredible because they were focused on something stupid. I didn't bow. I just looked at Ryan and told him that my shoes might not match, but at least I didn't spend my Saturday nights trying to make people feel small. The audience erupted into a standing ovation, and Ryan slunk out of the side exit before the lights even came up. I walked off the stage and sat in the dressing room for a long time, just breathing and holding my violin. One of the judges came back a few minutes later and apologized for not stepping in sooner, telling me it was the best performance they had seen in years. I realized that being laughed at is only a tragedy if you agree with the people doing the laughing. I wore those mismatched sneakers all the way home, and every time I looked down at them, I didn't feel embarrassed anymore. I felt like I had won a fight I didn't even know I was in, and I never let a stranger's opinion stop my music again.